Marty, 30 years ago today, the Logan Valley Mall looked nothing like it does now. That fire destroyed around 20% of the mall, and it was reported at 2:29 a.m. It's also believed to have started in the G.C. Murphy store.
The first thought was it's probably another false alarm. We had had numerous false alarms over the years at that facility and figured it was just the heat turning on, causing a heat detector or something else like that to go off to cause a problem.
But it turned out to be much more. As the chief of the Lakemont Fire Company, Tom Thrall was first on scene, and just 10 minutes after they arrived, a section of the roof from the G.C. Murphy store collapsed. That prompted Chief Thrall to request an all-call for assistance, first with all township companies, then Blair County companies, and then through surrounding county emergency centers. The Katanning Trail Fire Department was the second fire company to arrive.
While en route, we could see a large column of smoke in the middle of the black sky. So, you knew you had a good working fire. And then Logan Township Police actually were on scene first and told the dispatcher that he better send a lot of help because it was fully involved.
59 fire companies and more than 400 firefighters successfully controlled the fire, although an additional 40% of the mall suffered severe smoke and water damage. The part that was destroyed did not have automatic sprinklers, but the owners were planning to add them.
That was normal not to have sprinklers. That was the original part of the mall that was probably built in the late 50s, early 60s. And those, building codes weren't in effect, and just led to that fire boat be able to roll across there and move building to building, or store to store.
What also helped in fighting the flames was pre-incident planning. The Logan Township Fire Companies were well prepared for a fire through the 4th alarm level and held multi-company drills so they would know how to communicate and work with other fire companies in the county.
At that time, we did not have a central 911 center. We had 3 different dispatch centers in Blair County. And then when you're dealing with people from Cambria County, Huntington, Center County, Bedford, we did not have intercommunications until we could get people there with different radios to talk.
The fire destroyed 15 stores and 9 sales kiosks. The direct loss is estimated at $50 million, with total economic impact of more than $75 million. Being 9 days away from Christmas was another devastating blow.
Sears was very fortunate. They were the other anchor, and they were the farthest from the fire. Sears was completely sprinklered. We really weathered the storm well.
Carl was a captain with the Lakemont Fire Company, but he was also a department manager at Sears.
The biggest issue with corporate, obviously they wanted to get us open, and we could get open. It was a problem being separated from the mall. That affected traffic. It affected our business. But back then, the mall was really the place to be. Business was huge. Even after the fire, I think the rest of the mall did really well back then.
But if a fire of that magnitude were to happen again, sprinklers would help control the fire. However,
we'd probably have to go further due to lack of manpower. Most of these communities, like Daylight, we sometimes only get up 2 people. And most communities are doing that. I think we'd end up having just as big as fire.
Now, 30 years later, a cause still hasn't been determined, and it might stay that way.
They didn't have the technology that we do today to discover things. There's a lot of speculation. I don't think there was anything nefarious, but I could be wrong. But I think that the cause is probably never going to be determined.
And if you were to visit the mall today, you'd see a plaque near one of the entrances that tells you when the mall originally opened, when it was destroyed by that fire, and when it was able to reopen. Reporting live in Altoona, I'm Leanna Wells. Marty, sending it back to you.
All right, Leanna, thanks so much. Well, certainly the holidays can be a hard time of the year. If you're experiencing